Hello, everybody. This is Serdar Afshar. I am the Commercial Counselor of Turkey in Guangzhou. Welcome to our webinar titled How Brands Succeed in China. During this webinar, we will focus on products which are used at home. And our main focus will be the cross-border e-commerce. How we enter, how our companies can have access to China market via cross-border e-commerce regarding these products. In other words, we will not cover traditional way of trade regarding these products. This webinar co-organized by Ministry of Trade and Alibaba Group TMALL. Actually, this is our third webinar with Alibaba Group TMALL. Previously, we did for food industry and cosmetic industry. This is the third one, and hopefully we will have the fourth one regarding fashion industry. When we say home category, I would like to mention which products are under this category. It's household appliances like water purifier, purifying kettle, air purifier, sweeper, vacuum cleaner, coffee machine, B2 instruments, cooking machine, hair dryer, etc. Again, kitchen tablewares, kitchen pots, water filters, vacuum flasks, forks, knives, household cleaning, digital audio, digital camera, headset, mobile phone cases, and again home life. I mean home textiles, bedding, sanitary towels, cotton sleeves, steam eye mask, heat preservation, liquid laundry detergent, even covered under this title. As I mentioned, we organized this meeting with TMALL and Mr. Andreas Wolfgang Kirchner. I hope my pronunciation is correct. Andreas, he is with us today. He is the business development leader in Europe for home products. He will make a PowerPoint presentation to us soon. Welcome, Andreas. He's here, I think. Andreas, do you hear us?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, you hear us. Okay, perfect, yes. Andreas. I just wanted to make sure you hear us. And before Mr. Andreas, before he starts his presentation, let me introduce other participants to our webinar. In Turkey, from Ministry of Trade, Mr. Mehmet Tan, DG of Trade Missions and International Activities in our ministry. Welcome, Mr. Tan. Again, from Ministry of Trade, Mr. Hakan Kızartıcı, Chief Commercial Counsel of Turkey in Beijing with us. And regarding associations, exporters unions, Mr. Ahmet Öksüz, Istanbul Textile and Raw Materials Exporters Association Chairman, he is with us. From Uludağ Exporters Union, Ms. Pınar Taşdelen Engin with us. She is the Uludağ Textile Exporters Association Chairman of Board. From İMİP, Mr. Murat Kolbaşı with us. Actually, Murat Bey has many titles. He is board member of Electrical and Electronics Exporters Association. He is member board of Züchter Turkish Housewares Association. And at the same time, he is the vice chairman of Turkey-China Business Council, actually. Again, Mr. Talha Özger with us. He is Turkish Houseware, Kitchenware Manufacturer and Exporters Association, vice chairman of. From Denizli Exporters Association, Mr. Cüneyt Demirkan with us. Besides, we have vice secretary generals from our exporters associations, from 4 associations, and we have many guests, companies participating in our webinar. There are quite a lot participation. It is actually, it made me very hopeful about the future of the trade between Turkey and China. Today, how we will proceed, actually, Mr. Mehmet Tan will make a welcoming speech, and then Mr. Andreas will make his presentation to us. After Andreas' presentation speech is over, the floor is open for comments, questions, or any introduction of the relevant industries in Turkey. And I would ask other followers, the webinar, they can ask their questions in written form. They can send their questions whenever they want, and we will ask these questions to Mr. Andreas. Again, thank you so much for participating in our webinar. Now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Mehmetar, our DG. The floor is yours, Mr. Tan.
Thank you, Mr. Afşar. Mr. Kirchner, Mr. Kızartıcı, Mr. Afşar, distinguished chairman and chairwoman of the Exporters Associations and chairman of the Business Council. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to join you this morning to this online event organized by our ministry and our commercial attaché in Guangzhou for lifestyle and digital product brands that seek to enter the Chinese market. As you know, we are currently operating in an increasingly volatile and complex global environment where challenges are multifaceted. COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the prominent role of the digitalization in every aspect of our lives. Nowadays, the digital marketing methods and digital trading platforms have become more important and popular than ever. We, as the Ministry of Trade, not only support our exporters' virtual events, but also organize online meetings with our commercial counselors to provide the necessary and accurate information and guidance for them during the pandemic. This pandemic. These online meetings are open to all businesses, and we are very pleased to see big turnouts. Today, with the participation of Mr. Kirchner from TMALL Global, the largest cross-border e-commerce platform in China, this event will allow an invaluable exchange of ideas on certain ways that brands can succeed in China, as well as the opportunities of e-commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a fruitful and insightful meeting. Thank you very much for having time with us and sharing your ideas. Mr. Afşar, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tan, for your welcoming speech. And now, Andreas, the floor is yours, and we are very eager to listen to your presentation. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the very warm welcome, and the pronunciation is wonderful, so it's perfect. Thank you very much. So hello to China, good morning to Turkey. So it's really a great honor to have me here today. And I guess, as you mentioned, this is really a good opportunity to speak about some options we see to help brands from Turkey to expand the trade into the Chinese market, because of we see a increasing demand of Chinese customers for products from outside of China. So in the next, I would say 35 to 40 minutes, I will show you more about the Alibaba Group, about our ecosystem, and what trade opportunities we could provide to you to have a very close cooperation and collaboration to help you to bring the products to China. So let me share the presentation right now. It will just take a few seconds. Just have to choose it here from my folder. And it's really overwhelming to see how many participants we do have today. This clearly shows this is a very high interest here. So I'm very happy to see this. Maybe in the meantime to my person, so I'm with Alibaba for over 4 years now, since the beginning of establishing offices outside of China. So basically I'm based in Munich, And from Munich, I'm in charge of the whole European region, helping brands from the home and 3C industry to enter the Chinese market.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I guess you could see now my first slide of the presentation. Wonderful. So here's a little bit about the agenda. So as mentioned, I will show you more about the Alibaba Group, about the Chinese online market, options we do have when it comes to cross-border e-commerce business, also what we can see are current trends in China. And of course, if you ask yourself, okay, this is very interesting, but how to start? I will also show you how the selling into China can be accomplished. So I guess many of you have seen the nice gentleman standing in this room. So this is Jack Ma. Jack Ma is the founder of Alibaba Group, and he's amongst 17 other co-founders. So this picture has been taken in the apartment in Hangzhou, where Alibaba has been founded back in 1999. And still, this apartment is a very special place. So if we invent some very, very special projects, this is always the place to have the first thoughts and mindset. So we will keep this place for, I would say, forever, because it's really meaningful to us. And it shows really our mindset and DNA is really like working together very closely to share each other's impressions and thinkings. Maybe a little bit more about Jack Ma. So Jack Ma has raised up in Hangzhou. Some of you might know Hangzhou. It's a very nice and large city in China, so with around 10 million people. And there's a wonderful lake in Hangzhou. It's called the West Lake. And when Jack was a young person, he helped tourists when they came to Hangzhou to walk around the West Lake to show them some very nice places. And once he has done this, he started to learn English. And later on, he became obviously also an English teacher. And at some point, he got the opportunity to come to the United States. And when he was in the United States, at a friend's family, people asked him, hey, sit down, here's a computer. Have you seen this ever before? And he was like scary. Oh, I've never seen this kind of machine. Can I make anything damaged with this? No, just sit down and type anything you want. He was thinking about maybe beer. Beer could be a good idea to enter. So the search results he got was many beers from the United States, from Europe, but there was no match at all from China. And this was something he was really surprised about. And also this, I would say, was the starting point for him to think about, hey, how can we really achieve China to be connected to the global trade and really to make it easy to do business anywhere. So this is really the fundament and a core portion in our DNA till today, and this will last forever. Because this is really meaningful for everything we have invented in the past, and we will continue to invent. So 1999, he finally founded Alibaba.com with the 17 people you can see here in the apartment in Hangzhou. Before I show you more about the Alibaba, the so-called Alibaba Group ecosystem, I want to show you some numbers. So in total, we have more than 700 million annual active consumers. That means at least one order has been placed in the past 12 months. And this number is steadily growing here. So it's really a huge number and an impact of opportunities. So what you can see here, over 1.2, nearly 1.3 billion of packages we have processed during the last year's Double 11. So this is really a huge number. What was the result of Double 11, the global shopping festival last year, with our logistic arm called Cainiao. This I will show you in more detail later on. And here you can see that our partners, so partners selling over all of our different platforms together have achieved over $1 trillion GMV cross merchandise volume. So this was really a huge milestone we have seen to achieve this year. This is also a very high number. Over 38 billion US dollar was the revenue we have achieved together with all of our partners last year during Double 11. So this was again a huge growth compared to the year before and all the years before. But Double 11, I have some more information for you at the specific slide. So usually when I speak with brands across Europe, this is very, very interesting because some people might have heard about Alibaba.com, about AliExpress, maybe about Alipay, but most of the people do not know that we have built up a kind of ecosystem in China. And this ecosystem helps Chinese people with a lot of services and products when they get up and when they get to bed in the evening. So there's a lot of things we have invented in the past. So in total, we have over 45 different business units Chinese customers can use, but not just in China. It's also the services we have started to bring out of China. To help Chinese tourists to have very good services outside of China, and also, of course, people living outside of China to also participate in the global trade. So if we start on the upper corner here on the left hand side, so you can see here is written core commerce. So all of the things you can see here is obviously in the commerce area, which is very important, of course. And as here you can see a differentiation between general trade and cross-border e-commerce, cross-border and global business. And you have a differentiation between retail commerce and wholesale commerce. So there are different business units like for B2B business, which is the first unit we have started with Alibaba.com back in 1999. 2003, we have invented Taobao.com. So this is mostly C2C business. This was 2003. And 2008, we have invented TMALL. So this TMALL, as you can see here, which we have invented 2008, is the opportunity for brands who are based in China to sell to end customers in China over online business. And many brands have asked us, okay, this is very good, but what can I do when I do not have a legal entity in China yet? Or maybe I do not have products registered in China. So because of this high demand of brands asking us, we have invented what you can see here, TMALL Global, back in 2014. And TMALL Global enables brands from Turkey, for instance, to sell their products over cross-border e-commerce into China to the Chinese customers. Here you can see Hammer, Fresh Hippo. So this is our fresh food chain we have invented in China. And there will be many more stores where Chinese people can go to buy some fresh food, to buy some ingredients, to cook some food. And the very interesting thing to hear here. So if you have the opportunity to go to China, I really recommend to go in one of these stores, maybe in Shanghai or in Hangzhou, because this is really amazing to see. Because I would say it's a great example how the combination of digital and stationary business can work very closely together, because when people enter the stores, they can scan products by using QR codes. They get a lot of information about the products, where they come from, what are the ingredients, maybe how to use. We also can recognize customers who enter the store about knowing them from the e-commerce business. So we can also have some specific services when they enter the store. And people can eat meals in the store, but they can also order meals. And if they live in a radius 3 kilometers away from the store, they get ordered, delivered the food within 30 minutes. So this is not just for food, also for products. So let's imagine you need some baby food at night. Immediately within 3 kilometers, you get the products delivered. So this is really amazing. And I would say this is a great starting point for businesses to think about. So we have called it new retail, maybe also known as omnichannel. So how can I combine the classic stationary business with online business? So if we move here to AliExpress, so this is a platform which is very popular in Russia or in Spain, where people can buy products, for instance, from China and get it delivered to Spain or Russia, or also to Germany, to Turkey, wherever. Lazada, so this is something we have welcomed to our family 2 years ago, invented 2012. So this is the largest marketplace in Southeast Asia. So this is also something when we speak with our partners and talk about the China mainland business where we can also help partners to think about South Asia if there is a demand and an opportunity for it. And also to mention here, beside of TMALL Global, there's also Kaola. And Kaola we have welcomed to our family end of last year, which is also a very huge business for cross-border e-commerce. And here, as mentioned before, it's Alibaba.com in general trade and also cross-border option. So this is in a nutshell about our core commerce and many options. But for now, for today, I invite you to focus on TMALL Global, which you can see here, and I will explain more about this one later on. Maybe also to mention, because this is always very interesting for partners we are talking to, never heard about that maybe Fliegi is also a service belonging to our ecosystem, which is our travel arm. So if people in China wants to book a hotel room or some flight tickets, this is the place to be to book some flights. Also, we have LMR, which is a food delivery services. And what you can see here cannot work without data. So I will mention to you also Alibaba Cloud. Alibaba Cloud is very important because I would say it's a kind of fundament for everything you can see above, because without getting the data, we cannot proceed anything, and we cannot give anything back to all of our partners in terms of marketing, what you can see here. So this is Alibaba. So this is our marketing arm. When a brand is working with us, selling products to China, we can help with a huge bandwidth of products for marketing. So there's a close cooperation with our partners and services. Here you can see the blue colored Ant. So this is Alipay and Ant Financials. So some of you might heard about Alipay and Ant Financials. So this is clearly many options. So one option is the payment wallet, which is very popular in China for Chinese consumers to use. Also when they go abroad, so when they travel to Turkey, to Germany, wherever, this is very popular for them. And it's also helpful for them if they can use this payment method when they are outside of China, because this will help to increase spendings, of course. And it's also a kind of way to connect with customers when they are on travel for brands, so to speak. So it's not just about the payment wallet. It's also like that we help companies in China to hit the ground. So we give credits to entrepreneurs. We also do a very sharp customer rating and many things around. So this is very interesting service and very important for us, because every transaction you can see here, if it is on TMALL Global, on TMALL, wherever, will be processed over Alipay payment. And at Sino, you have seen some numbers before. When I mentioned some numbers we have processed during Double 11 last year, which was closely to 1.3 billion. This all has been handled by our logistic arm. It's called Here We Go. So as explained, so this is our core commerce, and this I would say is a fundament, because it's logistics, it's marketing, it's payment, it's cloud services. And to also explain you some things we have in the entertainment and digital media area. So maybe you have heard about Youku. I would say it's the kind of YouTube of China. So this is from Alibaba. We are also very active in the film industry. So we also invest in movie productions. One quick example, Mission Impossible. We have been invested here. So there's also a cooperation with Steven Spielberg. We have invented UC browser, which is the largest mobile browser in China. And we also help some cities in China when it comes to the traffic control by using artificial intelligence, so also using data to really have a good coordination when it comes to traffic control within the cities, and more beyond. And here is what we have invented. It's a communication tool. It's called DingTalk. So this is really important for us when we work with brands outside of China, to have a very good communication, because in DingTalk, usually we invite our partners to register an account. Then we create a chat group, so to speak, communication group. And within this communication group, we do have all stakeholders relevant for the business of the Turkish company to sell to China. So that means brand side will be here, the TP, I explained later on, our side will be here, and maybe also our colleagues from Cainiao and marketing. So this helps really to have a very efficient communication. And also to mention here, TMALL Jenny, it's a voice ordering system and by far more. Yeah, so this in a nutshell to explain and show you more about our ecosystem. Let's move forward to the next slide. Because this shows what you have seen in a real life situation. So this beautiful lady, you can see she's waking up at 7:30 in the morning, and she immediately starts to check some social channels and news, of course. Then she's interested to see what is the traffic situation in my city. How long will I need to come to my office? So she's already using one of our services. It's called AMAP, what you have seen. Then she's ordering a car by using Didi, and the payment will be by Alipay. She gets hungry at noon, so she's ordering food and is payment with Alipay, and ordering over Elema. So as you can see, she's also messaging with friends, using some streaming videos here, and learning about products and trends. So all of the services you can see here. Maybe she's close to have vacation, so she's also interested to learn about some good offers when it comes to flight tickets and hotels. All of these things you have heard already, but here I want to show you how can this work in real life for Chinese people. And what you can see here, there's a lot of payment involved, of course, with Alipay, and there's a lot of interaction, a lot of entertainment, a lot of informations, and all of this comes together here. And this is really very helpful, not just for the customer here. It's also very helpful for our partners selling to China. And if you ask why, it's because I have to go one slide back. It doesn't matter if a person is ordering food here, if he's doing a payment, whatever, there's a unique identifier behind. So we know exactly what this person has done, what he's doing, and we can also maybe predict what will happen in future. And all of this helps a lot when we work together with our brands in terms of marketing. Maybe also in terms of modification of products. So not speaking about to change the DNA of your brand, of course not, because this is the driving point why customers buy a product. But it also helps to continue to modify your product. So this is really very important to have a very sharp customer profile, which helps you to do even more better marketing to customers. So this I wanted to show you one example here. And when you're in China, you see that this is really a real life situation. So people are used to use mobile phones all the day. They used to use services, and most of the services are related to, for instance, Alipay, or they want to buy some products. So let me go to the next slide here. When I speak to brands, and when we have started over 4 years ago outside of China, speaking to some partners, it was like, this is what I have in mind when it comes to China. So on the left-hand side, you can see Hangzhou back in 1917, and here maybe some customers back in 1917. So this is something, some still think about this is China, but let me show you what China is nowadays. Of course, to be honest, this is not China in every region. So there are different, of course, customer profiles, and also there are different cities. But what I want to show you here is that there has been a huge development in China, at least in the tier 1, tier 2 cities. Tier 1 cities like, so this is really the huge cities with a lot of population, also when it comes to economy data. So like Shanghai, Beijing. So, and as you can see, this is very young people and also very demanding people. And they also have a high financial capability. And this is exactly the target customer we do have on TMALL Global. So I show you more about the customer profile on TMALL Global, but this is important to have in mind that this is mostly the customer profile you should keep in mind when it comes to the Chinese business when selling over TMALL Global. And usually it's like that the profile of customers is very different when you speak about the Turkish market, the French market, the Italian market. There are different customer groups. So it's also important for you that when entering the Chinese market, you also, of course, need to think about who is my target customer. So it also requires maybe a rethinking in terms of what is the best way of present my products, because the target audience is different. And maybe if you have a huge standing in your home country in Turkey, this does not need to mean that your brand is already aware in China. In most cases, this is clearly not the case. So when you think about to enter China, it's also about who is my target customer, and I need to explain my history. So the history of the brand, what is the idea of the designers inventing new products, what are the quality criteria, and how to use a product. And this brings me to one point. So when you sell into China, the content you have to provide online is very, very different to, for instance, in Turkey, because usually we know about your brand, we know about your products, and of course we know about how to use. But in China, you really have to start from not from zero, but from a different standpoint. So, and they're also very interested to learn about your brand. So what we have seen before, Taobao. So I would say Taobao is the largest product search engine in China. Of course, there is Baidu. This is the largest search engine, but the largest product search engine is Taobao. So we see in average, a Chinese customer is entering Taobao 7 times a day, and in average also spending 20 to 25 minutes a day on Taobao. And not just for buying products, it's also about to learn about products, to learn about trends, and also to interact with other potential customers. So it's far beyond about just commerce, just about buying. And this learning about products and trends is so important because you need to be able to give them trust and understanding of your brand. So I spent a little while on this point, because looking back, the experience working with brands, this is really very important to have this in mind when you want to enter the Chinese market, or also when you want to increase your existing business in China. So as you can see here, the headline says, China is the world's biggest online market. And yes, this is really true. So considering a population of total 1.4 billion people is huge. So just comparing to the population in Europe with over 700 million of people, US with over 300 million of people. In China, we do already have 800 million internet users. So the population is 1.4 billion. Internet users, 800 million. So, and you also need to know, so when we look across our ecosystem here, so I would say at least 85, 90%, depending on the category, maybe over 90% of the people buying products are using mobile devices. As you can see here on this image, many people are connected to the internet all day long by having mobile devices in use. So this is also very important for you to know, because people are reacting very quick. There's a very demand of being flexible here, because people are connected all the time. And this is really impressive, I would say, to see this high number here. And I would say on the other side, it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Next, I want to show you a little bit more about TMALL Global and the cross-border e-commerce business here. But before, and this is something maybe most of you have heard about, it's Double 11, so the Singles Day. So 11th of November each year, since over 11 years now, we are celebrating, and we have invented this, the Global Shopping Festival. And we call it Global Shopping Festival because this is not just an event relevant for China and Chinese customers. This is really helping brands participating from Turkey, from Europe, from the United States, from everywhere, to together celebrate a global shopping festival. And this is 24 hours, but the preparation of this event, of course, takes many more months before. So this is always very amazing to see how close our teams in China work together with brands to really prepare best possible to have a very successful shopping festival together. And you need to know, this is not just for online business, this is far beyond. This is really between stationary in the industry and also offline business and online business. So this is something very impressive to see what is already possible in China when it comes to help brands from the offline and online industry to have one mindset here. So 11th of November, it's not so long to go. So we are very excited, of course, and hard working towards this huge event. And to show you some numbers, and maybe some of you have not heard about Double 11 so far. In last year, so we have generated this number you have seen before, over 38 billion US dollar just within 24 hours. But not we. It was our partners. All of our partners doing business over our platforms have generated this huge amount of GMV. So it was over 200,000 of brands who have participated to make this event such successful, not just for participating brands and our ecosystem, especially for customers, because as this number here with over 38 billion expresses also the customer have found what they were looking for. And this is the most important, because our really core value is customer first. So this I would say is the most important information beyond GMV, because it means customers were happy and found what they were looking for. And this is really a crazy number. So in peak, we have processed over 544,000 orders per second. It's really a huge number at peak. And this means there is a huge requirement on the technical infrastructure. All of this has processed with Alibaba Cloud and Alipay. So this sometimes is, for me, more impressive instead of the number here, what is really required in terms of technical framework. And it's also for us, each year's Double 11 is a kind of stress test, because last year's Double 11 is last year. This year, expect a growth. So it's also more demand for our infrastructure. So we need to continue to improve our systems. So this is always a kind of stress test. And one last number on this. Double 11 last year, our brands and partners have invented more than 1 million new products just for Double 11, and also for the time period after Double 11, because Double 11 is also a starting point to increase the customer base and also to have a customer base looking forward. And what is not standing here on this slide is that we also continue to enable people living in rural areas in China to participate in trade. So we help people living on the rural side to understand about internet. What does it mean to be connected to the internet? So when it comes to what kind of products can I order, what kind of tools do I have to sell my products, and also to help them to invent some logistic hubs. So this is something we also have, beside of make it possible to trade globally, also to help people in China to be connected to the internet. So this is also one driver here. And this is what you can see here, the top 5. This shows products out, so the top 5 regions where Chinese people have bought products, where they were coming from. Here, the differentiation a little bit between TMALL and TMALL Global, so between cross-border e-commerce business on the left-hand side and general trade on the right-hand side. Important to know is this is not black and white. So we do have partners who are using both. So it also depends on the history of doing business in China for a brand, because some brands are doing business in China for many years, but maybe they have started an offline business. Then they have used TMALL to also make a footprint into the online business. And later on, they have also opened up a TMALL Global store because they have products not registered yet in China, but they want to sell it immediately. But it's just one example. There are many more examples. It's also like on TMALL Global, there are mostly different customers compared to TMALL. So it's also like by selling on 2 different platforms, so to speak, also to open up more potential customer bases here. but I'll show you more later. Important is to know you don't need to have a legal entity in China when you want to sell over cross-border e-commerce. Bank account you get in your home country, payment also in the currency you want to have. Also trademark, not necessarily need to be in China, it can be in your home country, but something I recommend to think about in an early stage, also about this point here, but this is more to be explained in one-on-one situations, because this is also kind of individual. And very important to know what does cross-border e-commerce basically mean. It means that the products are outside of China before selling to the customer in China. So this could be in a bonded warehouse. So this is a warehouse in a free trade zone in China. And we do have nowadays, I would say, 13 regions with free trade zones, which we could use here. And why? This helps to have a very a quick delivery time from the time our customer is placing the order until he really gets the products. So this is my usually a recommendation to think about use bonded warehouse here. But you could also think about to sell products whilst having the products in Turkey. But frankly, I would say this has an impact on the conversion rate, because people are not used to wait so long for products. And it's also a question of costs, because sending products from Turkey to China individually causes, of course, many more costs in terms of logistics compared to send a container or half food container to China with products you have planned regarding based on your forecast. So using bonded warehouse is my recommendation here. And to show you, okay, TMALL Global cross-border e-commerce maybe sounds interesting, but to also give you some numbers, 80% in average, we can see here, have started their online business using TMALL Global, online business into China. And we work together with over 26,000 brands, international brands so far, coming out of 84 different countries. And we have brands to enter the Chinese market in the right category. So we have over 5,400 different B-level categories. And as we have heard in the introduction, so I'm in charge of home and 3C categories, and we heard a lot of examples for well-fitting products. Exactly, this is also the trend we can see in China, because people buying on TMALL Global want to have high-quality products from outside of China. They want to have a very nice design, and they want to make sure that this is really also authentic products. So these are some examples and driving points for buying on TMALL Global. And it's also like that customers buying products on TMALL Global want to express that they are able to buy nice products from Turkey, for instance. So this is something where we work very closely together with our brands. And please get me right here. It's not that we want to make the picture more colorful than it is. Usually when we work with our brands in the BD situation, it's like we want to understand the situation of a brand. We also want to learn about the willingness and the capability to enter the Chinese market. And if we do think maybe something is missing here, we would also tell it to our partners, because we want to make sure together with our partners that there's a good starting point entering China, because even there's a huge opportunity in China, there are also challenges, of course. So this is something we really sit down with our potential partners in the BD situation, and we explain it very neutral. And we are more than happy if we see together that this makes a lot of sense, and maybe not. Maybe some better thing to go maybe in a year, or to think some different solutions. So this is something we really taking care of very seriously, because this is important for the brand side. This is also important for the customer side, buying products whilst being in China. Let us move to the next slide here. Some trends. So this is really something always amazing whilst being in China, because retail is also entertainment in China, as you can see here. So as I mentioned, it's not just about buying, it's about exploring, it's about sharing. So as you can see, sharing also means to show some short product videos or some experience videos from customers. It's also like, as you can see here, and this I immediately go on the right-hand side, live streaming. This is so important nowadays in China to really have a successful marketing here, because people in China love it to attend live streaming sessions. So many reasons for this. It's also like it's a way of getting good recommendations, because Chinese people usually make decisions based on recommendations. So having here maybe some key opinion leader participating in a live streaming session, showing the audience more about the brand, how to use the products, and also in a very entertainment way. This is something where we can see really amazing numbers, selling numbers, when brands doing this kind of sessions here. So it was already very important before last year's Double 11. Last year's Double 11, we have seen that this was a huge uplift in terms of the benefit of having live streams. And in the past year, it was like steadily growing. And I would say this also looking forward is something you really have to consider, because it helps you in so many points to explain very well your brand and products. And what you can see here, as I mentioned already, it's also about to explore about trends and products. So what you can see here, this is Taobao. So many people start as a journey. So it also means as a treasure hunting. So it's also like that they start here looking for products, and all of those partners who have a TMALL Global store get highlighted. So we also make it easier for customers to find the stores providing according products. So entertainment is really very important to know when it comes to sell successful in China. And this is what I have mentioned also before. So in average, we can see that we have, of course, very young people buying on TMALL Global. But it's also a little bit more female customers compared to male customers. A little bit, let's say here, you can see here, 47%. Customers are buying very frequently, and they are also willing to express that they are able to buy these products, and they are able to really participate these trends. And so we of course do have many people buying and coming from tier 1, tier 2 cities, but we also see a huge increase of people coming from lower tier areas. And this is also good to see, because there's a huge potential coming in addition here. But this is really just a snapshot here. We also need to, and this is something for individual BD situation, to have a closer look on your specific products and what your customer group is. But this gives you a good impression about our customer bases in general. When we come to home category trends, I just picked up some example stores of brands out of the home category selling our TMALL Global to customers in China. So as you can see here, bed and living room is high demanded, kitchen and tableware, home textiles, and so these are huge categories, as you know, and this is also a huge growth opportunity. And as I have done my research, there's still a huge potential for brands from Turkey, because not so many brands from Turkey are selling yet on TMALL Global. And this is something I was very happy when I heard about the opportunity today, that this could be a good starting point to discuss with more brands participating in today's session, to have a discussion. How can we help and how can we collaborate together to bring your products to China to fulfill and also to create the demand of Chinese customers, to help them to get your brand known. So this is also one mission of mine, to help more brands from Turkey to enter the Chinese market over TMALL Global. So this is really just to give you an example here of high demanded B-level categories, and also to show you a little bit how can the stores look like. And I will also share with you some example stores URL, because this is interesting to see how they are built up in terms of content, how they present the products and so on. So this gives you a good sense on what does TMALL Global in real life situation means. As we also heard in the introduction, there are many brands, especially now caused by the pandemic situation, because now people are even more concerned about their health and how can they make sure to stay healthy and maybe also to improve their situation. So air purifying and cleaning, of course, it was already important before, but now people are really, really thinking more about this. And also some people are in work from home situations. So it's also important to consider this, because now people learn to also think more about their living situation. So they have spent more thinking on how can I improve my living situation. But this is also an important point here, because living situation in Turkey can be very different to a living situation in China, because the usual living, the size of a living room in China usually is smaller than in Turkey. So that also means that maybe huge kitchen appliances look good, are good, but maybe too large for the living situation. So this is also some hint here to consider, that the situation of the specific customers can be very different to customers in Turkey, for instance. Maybe you did not know, but this is also a surprise that also stationary items are amongst my category here. So it's also very interesting and also very high demanded for being creative. So especially when you imagine for kids, but also for parents. So nice products out of the stationary items industry are always a good point here to discuss further. Air purifying cleaning we already discussed, and also when it comes to beauty tools, because to be very honest, we see a very high demand in cosmetics, personal care industry, and to bring it into my category here to 3C, we can also see a high demand of beauty tools appliances. And as we heard, a huge area here, all of the home and kitchen appliances. So I could show you 10 plus slides here with examples, because this is really something the Chinese are demanding on TMALL Global. They want to have high quality and a nice design products. So very excited also to learn more about your brands and products after our webinar. And I'm very convinced that there is a huge opportunity coming. And as mentioned, there is a huge growth opportunity for Turkey brands to enter TMALL Global. Really just some quick examples here. Also to sum up this a little bit more in detail, we heard about TMALL Global and TMALL, which is general trade. So this, what you can see here, is the opportunity for a brand to open up an online store to do B2C business. You as a brand sell to customers in China over cross-border e-commerce, or when you have a legal entity and you want to do a general trade, over this option. And this is something kind of new. So over 1 year ago, we have also invented TMALL Overseas Fulfillment. This is different to this era because this is wholesale. This means we buy selected products from you or distributors. The handover of products can be, for instance, in Frankfurt in Germany, and we are taking care of the delivery to the buying customer in China. So at the moment, to be also very honest here, the buying decision mostly is based on, do we already see this brand and product in China, maybe on Taobao, maybe on some different channels? So is there already an interest of customers in China? And when it comes to categories, at the moment, it's mostly on cosmetics, personal care, but also in parts of 3C. But this is something we are continuously improving. So improving in terms of we're expanding our demand across categories. So this is also, we can discuss one-on-one in a BD situation, but mostly as our audience here is from home and 3C, I would say and invite you to focus on this one. This is to think about the TMALL Global Store. And also because when you open up an online store, you are the one who are sitting in the driver's seat. That means you can decide which products you want to place at which price. This all is not given here because this will be our decision. So my recommendation would be to think a little bit more about this one here, to build up your brand awareness. And once you have achieved a good level of brand awareness, we can discuss also to help you to push some selected SKUs, maybe on a volume side a little bit more, but my recommendation is to think more about the B2C store opportunity here. Yeah, So this is really a kind of sum up what I've explained already earlier, but also to show you what options do we have on TMALL Global. And this is a very important slide as well, because this shows that going into China, as mentioned, yes, there's a huge opportunity. There are many challenges, and it only can be achieved when working together as a team. So selling into China requires to think about it like a team sports. So you cannot do it alone. We cannot do it alone. This is something only working together as a team. And usually when we think about our stakeholders, so to call a stakeholder model, it's like, of course, you as a brand are amongst the stakeholders. Of course you are. Then you can see here a third party called TP, TMALL Partner. So this is not a company from Alibaba. These are different sized companies based in China with expert knowledge in e-commerce and expert knowledge in doing operations for stores. And if such companies want to get listed as a TP for Alibaba, they can walk through a certification process. And once they achieve this, we can put them in a pool of TPs. Okay, so if you're a brand from Turkey are interested to enter the Chinese market, you need to work with a so-called TP, because they do have the expert knowledge to help you to do a proper planning, so operations plan, all of the forecasting, all of these questions come with how to establish a good content. So preparation, the launch of the store, and also the operations. For this, you need to have this kind of TP. But this should be your, I would say, longer arm into the Chinese market, where you have a good communication, of course, as well, because you will get back from this partner, from China, so many informations, data, which you need to form further your strategy to continue to be successful in China, to continue to build up your brand awareness. So, and we help you to get connected with potential TPs. Important to know is we need to be neutral here. It's not like that we recommend only one TP, but we can help you to get your brand presented to the pool of TPs. And all of the TPs who are interested to work with you as a brand get in touch with you. And there's a kind of screening process for both parties. And at the end, you and the TP make a final decision. And once you have done this, we start the onboarding process. So it's not just me in this case, it's also our colleagues from our Hangzhou headquarters for category and our onboarding support team. And of course, it's about to bring the products to China. It's also very important to think about logistics, which in most cases is our logistic arm called Sai now. So this is the stakeholder setting here. And as I mentioned, when I explained more about our ecosystem, by using DingTalk, this enables all of the stakeholders to have a very efficient and quick communication. So everywhere is aware of everything what is happening related to the store. This is very helpful and important here. Let us move to the next slide, which shows what is important. I would say it's maybe not just 3 tips, but these are 3 tips I wanted to give you here. So as mentioned before, partnership, team cooperation is so important. And it's not a sprint. So if you want to enter or increase your existing business in China over TMALL Global, it's like to think about it like a marathon. So you have to be patient, but you also need to be flexible. So Chinese market is developing very quickly. There are many things to be invented in near future, and things are in a. So we say in our company, change is the only constant. And this is true. This is true not just for our companies. This is true, I would say, for the Chinese online business at least. So this you need to consider. So you need to be very flexible here. But this is also something why we are here outside of China, because we also want to help our partners to keep up the communication bridge with our teams and your teams in China. Sometimes it's also about some different mindsets. So it's also like that we have to build, so to speak, the cultural bridge. So also when it comes to expectation management. So many things here, and we see ourselves here to really be your partner, as mentioned before, not making something more colorful as it is, because our goal is to bring together successful brands with customers in China demanding your products. And this is our goal, and we really want to enable a global trade here and help customers to find products, help brands to continue to create demand. And yeah, so this is just 3 tips from my side here. And if you are interested to learn more about your opportunities to sell into China, you can go on this website here, merchant.tmall.hk. Can enter your details of your company here, and then myself and my team will reach out to you to have a more detailed discussion, because some points are not able to cover in general aspects. This is also individual business here. So once you have entered all here, we get this in our systems, and then we immediately reach out to you. You can also get connected with me on LinkedIn. More than happy to. And we will share also my email address later on with the audience. So teşekkür ederim, Sisha, and thank you for now. I stay here.
Thank you so much, Andreas. Andreas, before asking other participants their comments and questions, I would like to ask one thing. How about the cost? I mean, there are different types of shops, like flagship stores or other shops the companies can have in TMALL, right? TMALL Global. So how about what kind of shops they can have, the companies, and the cost? I'm asking this question because the previous 2 presentations, the most discussions were around this topic, actually.
That's a very good question, of course. So what you need to know when you think about to open up a B2C store on TMALL Global for cross-border e-commerce, there are different kind of fees to consider. So one part, of course, is the TMALL Global platform fee. So there's a deposit. So money you have to pay as a deposit. So this still is your money, but we need to have it because on TMALL Global, that means these are companies outside of China. So imagine there is some fraud or there is some damage in different ways. We cannot we don't have a legal influence to companies because they are outside of China. So this is something we need to have a kind of buffer to fulfill some damages if there is, for instance, as mentioned, fraud. So deposit. There's a yearly technical transaction fee, and there is a transaction fee. So depending in which category you are. So as you mentioned cosmetics, you mentioned food. So I will also share with the audience when we do this recap. So the fees are according to the category you are selling your products. So it's not like it's based on a negotiation. This, of course, not. It's really just depending on which category your brand and products are in. So it's a deposit, it's a yearly technical transaction fee, and it's a transaction fee for every sale you do. So, and also to mention, of course, Alipay for the payment transaction. So this is for the platform and for the payment. Then I mentioned it's required to have a so-called TP, a TMALL partner. You can imagine a TP has a team for your brand. So it's a store manager. You have someone for content, for logistics, customer service. And these TPs usually have a fixed fee and a commission-based fee. So depending on the success of your store. And one reason why we do have the selection process, it's not just important for you as a brand to make the right decision. It's also important that the TP has the chance to choose the right brand to work with, because they also want to be successful. So they need to know your company, your products, and they need to know if they are capable to help you to be successful. So platform fee, as mentioned, we have the fee for the TPs. I would say 50% is fixed fee, 50% is a commission-based fee. Then you have to consider marketing spendings. this is nothing we write in numbers how much you have to spend, but I can give you an average recommendations, at least when you start to enter the Chinese market. So let's say in the first 1 or 2 years, good recommendation could be something between 20, 25, 30, 35%, really depending on the individual situation, to reinvest into marketing. Because as mentioned, the opportunity in China is huge, but also there is a competition. And it's also based on this, very important to help the Chinese people to find your brand, to understand your brand. So marketing is something we underline that this is important, at least at the first 1 or 2 years. And marketing spending can be used to contract a KOL, a key opinion leader, influencer, for live streaming sessions and different more options here, marketing. And one more point to consider is, of course, logistic costs. So the costs to bring your products from the manufacturing place, maybe from Turkey, from your warehouse, to the bonded warehouse to China. So logistic costs is also one pillar to be considered. Platform, including Alipay, TP, marketing spendings, and logistics. The good thing here is that by having also the TPs, this of course is also something our brands are discussing in more detail with the TPs, because it's also depending on the forecast you as a brand are clarifying with the TP, because if you have the very detailed forecast, you can play more with these numbers. So, but this is a good point. I recommend that we also share later on in a recap the URL to our fee overview, and here everyone can go beyond to the according category and have a clear number of what would be the concrete fee. But this is also an important point. So glad to hear that in the previous sessions this was important, because this is something we discuss with our brands, because sometimes we see very interesting products, but the brand is maybe not able or capable at the moment to invest this money to enter the Chinese market. So this is also something we discuss with our partners here, if this is possible for now. So yeah, good point.
Thank you so much for your very informative, very detailed presentation. Now, I would like to ask other participants whether they have any comments, whether they want to add anything or any question.
Well, can I say? Yeah.
Ahmet Bey, buyurun.
Okay. Dear Director General, dear Commercial Attaché, dear Mr. Kashner, and the President and sectoral representatives, thank you very much, first of all, organizing this webinar. It's really amazing, and special thanks to Mr. Kashner for the presentation. It was very nice. I would like to give you some information about the textile sector in Turkey and what areas we can do something with TMALL. First of all, Turkish textile and raw materials industry is the sixth largest supplier in the world and second in the European Union. And usually our companies, they are doing B2B business, except home textile and the carpet manufacturers. Mm-hmm. These areas, I think, can be developed with TMALL because we are the fourth largest home textile exporter in the world. And this is very important. Again, for the carpets also, Turkey is very strong exporter. Turkish textile and apparel industry has almost $100 billion manufacturing industry turnover, more than $28 billion of export, including carpets, and we have about $16 million trade surplus, and over 20,000 active exporters, and most of them are the manufacturers, and over 2 million employment. And we have the biggest vertical integrated textile and apparel production capacity in Europe. And the share of Turkey is about 3.5% in the global market. and especially our industry differentiate from their global competitors with sustainability, organic and better cotton, social responsibility, ethical trade, recycled production, and fast supply process. And especially cross-border e-commerce market will grow, I believe, and Turkey can be an important supplier also to Chinese market, because when we look the data, actually the numbers are not so fair also between Turkey and China. It's in our industry, it's 15 times. The import coming from China is 15 times bigger than what we export to China. So this is also a way to increase our export to Chinese market. And I am happy to organize and also webinar with our members. We can do it together with Ms. Pinar. She is the president of Uludağ Exporters Association, and Denizli is also a very important city in home textiles, and Cüneyt Bey is here. So as exporters associations together, we can organize a webinar to inform our members about TMALL and to do business with Chinese market. Thank you very much again. And if anything you need from our sector, just please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmet. Murat Bey, Mr. Murat Kolbaşı.
Thank you, Mr. Serdar Bey. First of all, I would like to thanks to Andreas. Danke sehr, because your presentation is really useful for us. And I would like to send my best and warm regards and respect to all Ministry of Commerce members, all exporter associations, and all audience who join over here. As Mr. Serdar Avşar already mentioned that, I am present over here, Electrical Appliances and Electronics Exporter Association. I am the one of the board member, and also I am board member of Foreign Economic Relation Boards, and all Asia region, Asia Pacific region is belongs to me, and that region is quite important for us, because when you look to Turkish foreign economy, there is a 35 billion US dollar. We have a gap between our import and export. So we need you to improve our export, that area. So only China and Turkey has approximately 15 million gap. Already Mr. President Ahmet Öksüz already mentioned that. So that's why we need to improve our figures. By the way, electrical appliances and electronics sector is 6th largest sector in Turkey for export-wise. And when you look from west part of European Union, from European continent to west part of China, Turkey is one of the largest manufacturer for white goods, for all kind of electrical appliances. Plus, probably Mr. Talha Özger going to add more, but even for the non-electrical appliances, we are quite a strong country for manufacturing side, and together with our all suppliers, we have a good opportunity in Asia Pacific. And also, I am traveling to China from 1992 because I am in one of the small domestic appliances business. So I purchase a lot of products from China, even I export to China, and all around the world I do business, approximately 42 countries we export our under my brand, I'm Turkish brand. So we are getting in touch with you, I mean with your company in the past, because of we already attend 2 times in Shanghai import fair. So that's why we are also want to increase figures in China as well. So that's why thank you for the all presentation which you gave us today. That's why I ask your presentation is quite important for us, because some of the information which I knew is a little bit different than what you explained. But still, I would like to little bit open your explanation or enter to your explanation. For example, we are working with Amazon. Amazon has full fulfillment system by Amazon, so that's why we work directly with them, or they advise us we can sell our products through the marketplace. So together with the TMALL, how can we do that? Maybe we have to be clarified that area, because some of the brands may little bit have a hesitation to enter the China market. That's why we can need your help. And also for the electrical appliances, we have one issue we have to be handled, that after sales operation. We need to do that, because if it is non-electrical, there is no need after sales operation. But for the electrical appliances, we need some after sales operation. So TMALL can get some support from that area. I have also another question about that. And another things, of course, we are very familiar with European Union countries, in also Middle East, we export there. But for China, we need to get some certificate. For example, we need to get CCC. So you need to see that kind of certification for electrical appliances. You have any line for that, any help for that, or all the brand who do electrical appliances business, we need to get that certification before we came to you. These are the main three questions. It's already in my mind. That's why I want to bring with you. But personally, definitely, I will contact with you again for Mr. Serdar and Mr. Andrea. Thank you very much for very fruitful meeting and webinar giving a chance to us. Thank you. Şiye.
Thank you, Mr. Kolbaşı. Pınar Hanım.
I also would like to thank you, Serdar, for organizing this meeting, and Andreas Kirchner, Dankeschön, for the detailed information you gave us on TMALL and how it can help our brands to succeed in China. Mr. Öksüz already explained a bit about our industry here in Turkey. And well, we are living in unprecedented times, really. And we're facing new challenges every day. But these challenges are also reminding us how important it is to constantly look for different ways of doing trade, ways to communicate. So I am so certain that we will continue to focus on our collaborations, and success will come afterwards. Well, our organization, let me give you a bit of information about our organization also, so you can give us more suggestions on how our members can be more successful in the Chinese market. Well, the exporters associations like Istanbul, like Denizli, they all have a very similar aim. They were all established to improve and promote, to improve the export of Turkish textiles and the promotion of Turkish textiles all around the world. So to strengthen the already respectable image of Turkish textile products is our main aim. And we, as the Turkish home textile sector, we export to more than 160 countries around the world. And in 2019, it was 2.6 billion US dollars of export. Well, we also have to focus on the fact that our members, so as the Istanbul and Ahmet's members also, they are mainly producing curtain fabrics and upholstery fabrics. Of course, they, as well as the towels, tablecloths, bed sheets, bed covers, but mostly it's a B2B business. So we would like to hear more about how we can work on doing business in China. For that, with the partners, really. We know, we're all very aware that China is the second biggest economy of the world and 1.4 billion of population. And they are also the leading exporter in the world since 2009. But this led them also to be a very important importer. And the Chinese market is growing every day, and there's increasing demand, as you said, for sophisticated design products. And that is one of the reasons why we've been organizing the national participation to Intertextile Shanghai Home Textile Fair since 2008, since Mr. Serdar also knows. And together with reputable companies, home textile companies from all over the world. There has been an increasing interest of our companies in every edition. In 2019, there were mainly the companies are from China, but there are also from 26 foreign companies that are exhibiting there. And in 2019, there were 22 Turkish companies in our national pavilion, which was like 25% of the foreign companies. In 2007, the Turkish home textile exports to China was $2 million. And in 2019, this has increased to $15 million, but still, as you can see, there's plenty of room for. The main goal of the Turkish home textile sector is to take a permanent place in Chinese market with their own brands. The positive and strong relations between Turkey and China should aid in doing that, in achieving that goal. That is why we attach great importance to our cooperation opportunities here. We had some questions from our members earlier that I would like to address too, but some of them you've already addressed. The main one was also mentioned by Mr. Serdar Afshar, the fees for the TMALL operation. So thank you for that. And also one of the main questions was how much marketing expenditure they should be concentrating on, which you've already addressed also. So the TMALL Global is only B2C, as far as I understand. And our members were also asking if there was any B2B, which I don't see in TMALL Global. And they're also asking about if they have to establish a warehouse in China, which you've already mentioned, and if TMALL can help in making those organizations, and about the logistics. And also they would like to ask, well, me also, how do you position Turkey in TMALL Global, and how you can assist our members to reach their target customers, which are mainly wholesalers, converters, contract business companies who are doing the hotels and places like those, and the editors. So these are mainly the questions we received from our members. So thank you for this presentation, and I hope we can continue our communication and address these questions and problems we have in hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pınar Taşdelen. Andreas, would you like to say anything, or?
Yeah, very happy to say something here, and appreciate a lot of questions here. First of all, I would say, yes, this is exactly the purpose of today's webinar, to help a little bit more to understand what options do we have, and also what options do we have to increase the export business from Turkey to China. Because what I mentioned in my presentations, there's still a lot of room to bring in more brands from Turkey to China. So this is, I would say, our core purpose on all sides of the participants today. So what I mentioned, mainly TMALL Global is B2C business. So it means brand open up a store and sell to end customers in China. What I mentioned a little bit in the presentation was called TMALL Overseas Fulfillment. And this, in a sense, would be B2B business because companies from Turkey are selling to us, to Alibaba, and we sell to end customers in China. But as mentioned, this is always depending on an individual situation and also depending on the buyer's interest. Whereas opening up our own TMALL Global store is your decision, selection, price, marketing. But of course, we do have opportunities, but I cannot say in general, yes, we can do it. But we do have opportunities we need to discuss individually with the participants, with the members of your association. Yeah, marketing we already discussed. So I gave an average number here, what could be a good number. Logistics we also have covered. There was an additional question I did not answer so far.
Andreas, there are some written questions, but before moving to those written questions, yeah, I would like to ask other two participants, actually, Mr. Talha, whether he wants to add something.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Serdar, and thank you so much for this opportunity to Mr. Andreas. And I would like to give you some information about home and kitchenware sector from manufacturer's point of view. We all know that China is the main player and currently exporting more than half of world's home and kitchenware products. And Turkey ranks the 7th biggest exporter in the sector. And our main export markets are Europe and Middle East countries. For the last 10 years, our export volume increased by 45%. And even during the pandemic, we are experiencing a steady growth. Apart from our trade volume, thanks to our trade relation with European retail chains, we have improved our quality and design and now capable of meeting requirements of many international buyers. For many years, China has been considered to be our competitor, but now it is one of our potential markets. As EFSIT, Exporter and Manufacturer Association, we have organized more than 30 business matchmaking events in 20 different countries and looking ways to enter Chinese market. We see e-tailers to be a perfect way to enter the market, and we are ready to cooperate in this project. And we have one question actually from our members. Like I said, we are an association of manufacturer and exporter association. They are producing kitchenware items, stainless steel, non-stick, plastic items, ceramic, electrical items as well. So they are asking that maybe it's possible to open up a store in TMALL, like 10 or 15 companies in one store and like sell the products in your website. Is this possible?
So thank you very much also for giving some more numbers. This is really impressive to hear. To answer your question, so in home category, we do have the opportunity to think about a so-called specialty store. So it's still B2C business, but you can imagine it like someone is opening up an umbrella and some selected brands are jumping under this umbrella. So there are options, but this we do need to discuss in detail with the interested brands and who would be the one who is opening up this kind of umbrella, because there are also some requirements we need to discuss in detail. But yes, this could also be an option, of course. And what we have heard says mixed interests, like some are only doing B2B business, some are able to do also B2C business or interested in. So this is something we need to find a solution for it. Like mentioned, TOF would be a kind of solution. And And when it comes to how can we help to make Turkish brands more visible on our platform. So this is really something the so-called TP helps each of the participating brands here, because they help you to understand where to invest, how to invest, and how much to invest in marketing. And all of this together, I would say, helps to increase the awareness of Turkish brands in total on our platform in China. So it's not just a single answer here. I would say it's the total picture we can generate together by bringing more brands, more products on TMALL Global, maybe also on TMALL. So I'm not in charge of TMALL, which is our general business, but it can be that in some cases we see, okay, maybe there's a combination, because without making it too complex now, in home, we also would have the opportunity to think about a kind of two-option store. So if you start with a TMALL Global store, later on we can enrich this store also by general trade opportunity. This, as far as I know, is only possible in home category. So I would say this would exactly meet your demand for different scenarios. So maybe, as you can hear, there are many more solutions, but most of them require individual discussions here. But I guess I have understood them correctly, the audience, the needs, and confidence that we find a solution. But I cannot promise anything, because it also depends on the interest and the potential on the buying side of customers in China. But this is something that TPs also are very important, again, to mention here, because the TPs are doing the business, so online business, on a daily basis, 7/24, and they are really the experts. So we are the one who provide you the platform, and you can sell on our platform, and we bring together the partners. So like you as a brand, the company, and the TPs. And this together in our stakeholder model works very well. So give a little bit more color in the picture would be also the TP side. We are more than happy to help you to get connected with these experts.
Thank you, Andreas. Lastly, I would like to ask Mr. Cüneyt Demirkan whether he wants to add something.
Thank you, Mr. Serdar, and thank you, Mr. Kessner, for the nice presentation. Well, textile industry is very important, one of the important industry in the world, in Turkey also. For home textiles, we are number 4 supplier in the world, especially for the home textile towels, bedding sites. And 75 to 80% of these products are being supplied by Denizli. So especially for especially bed towel products, we do see a lot of opportunities. As Mr. Ahmet already mentioned, we are, as DENIP, we are ready to participate, cooperate for the future of this webinar. And also for our member companies, since 2015, DENIP is participating at the Canton Fair with continuously. Therefore, already some of our member companies are already discovered nice cooperations. We are already exporting. So with TMALL, we believe in so much that we could increase the number of trading with China. We have only one question to Mr. Kessner. What will be the roughly delivering time once the goods are shipped from Turkey? Thank you very much.
I am Osman Canik from Ulda Textile Exporters Union. Can I have a few sentences to add?
Please, Osman Bey.
I am one of the members of the board of Ulda Textile Exporters Union, more than 10 years, and have experience with the Chinese market in that period for our country and also for our individual company. We have established and registered our brand in China. We are selling through a Chinese partner. We have insisted for this business for a long time. It is still a small plant, but it is now the time for it to become a huge tree. I see that it is possible through Alibaba TMALL concept. there is a room for B2C, including our B2B relation with our Chinese business partners. And as our members already informed, our relations are usually with B2B, and it is time to convert it B2C through our B2B relations. What's your comment on this? Thank you, Mr. Andreas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the two questions. So let me answer the first question. It was the delivery time. Thank you for this question. So let's imagine we are thinking about the bonded warehouse. We use a bonded warehouse. So this is one of the quickest solution, because this, I would say, just takes two days to bring the products from the bonded warehouse to the door of the customer who has bought the product. So compared to sending the products from Turkey or from a different country in Europe, Germany, France, wherever, this takes by far longer. So we can discuss about in average maybe 10, 12 days, even we use maybe air freight. So I recommend to think about the bonded warehouse. And of course, bonded warehouse also means that you need to have a very clear and transparent plan in terms of forecast, because nothing would be more bad by having too many stocks in a bonded warehouse and not selling it. So this is also something really based on a very transparent and good forecast. So this to your question, and also to mention here, by working about the forecast, it's also like, and this I mentioned, we have a very sharp database in terms of customer details. So we can also give some good predictions where maybe sits your potential customer in future. So this we can also use to use the right warehouse, because we can imagine your customer, considering your brands, is more in this region. So maybe better to use a bonded warehouse next to this region, which would again decrease the delivery time. So this is also what we use during Double 11. So by knowing our customer base and can do some very good predictions, that we use our logistic networks also by using artificial intelligence to modify this part. So logistics, of course, is very important. And thank you for the second question. Very nice to be in contact now with you also. So this means, yeah, so if this is possible, this would be, of course, also one of my recommendations. So a company used to do B2B business, also to think about to expand beyond, to also think about B2C business. And maybe it's in this constellation, because when you think about TMALL Global, you also have to think about a TP, TMALL partner. And this TP is covering so many points of the 2C part, all of the operations, all of the logistics, all of the content communication is covered by the TP. So when you think about B2C business without having such a partner, this would be a huge step, of course. And this requires that many processes internally has to be changed. Maybe you make the decision it does not make sense at all. But thinking about this specific model, having this partner called TP, maybe makes it easier to make a first footprint also in this industry, or let me say this customer segment. And also to mention here, we have two types of TPs. One is the TP who is doing everything for you in terms of the operations of the store. And the second type would be a kind of distributing TP. So that means that the distributor is buying your products and sell it in your store to the end customers. Frankly, to mention here, most of the TPs maybe just are interested in the distribution model if there is a brand with a good brand awareness already in China. But just to mention here, but yes, this would be also my recommendation wherever it is possible. And wherever it is not possible, we have to think about where could be a B2B model within our ecosystem, which fits what is doable. So, yeah.
Thank you, Andreas. If there is no any other comment, I would like to move to written questions. Is there any comments, questions? Okay, Andreas, I'm sure you are able to see the written questions as well. One of the questions, Mr. Kabakçı, how much is the average fixed fee cost of the TP partner in China? One of the questions.
That's a question which usually we can mostly cover in individual situations, but maybe to give you a number, but first you have to consider a TP is really establishing a team for the brand. As mentioned, store manager, communication, logistic, and so on. So I would say in average it can be something between 6,000 and 12,000 US dollar a month for this kind of partner. By having all of the services here, maybe it sounds like a huge number. Maybe you say, wow, this is cheap. So this is really something to be considered individually. But from my perspective, if you are able and the product fits, this is not too expensive because there's so much services and things beyond. To answer this question, this is something in average.
Okay. Another question from Mr. Yasin Korkmaz. TMALL has got the capability to organize, handling, and add value to our products during the bonded warehouse process. Is it possible? Also, could we get information regarding domestic transportation from cost and performance perspective, or will we get case by case? In addition, could we get detail about return products, the procedure of TMALL? Yeah.
Of course, logistics and here, so to speak, with our logistic arm now, and this is also why I mentioned it within our stakeholder model, is very, very important, and not just to bring the products from your side to the customer side, also in the preparation phase to know what costs to be considered, maybe what additional services as you mentioned. But this is nothing I can answer here in general, because this requires to sit down with the brand individually with our team from Cainiao and the TP to discuss about the specific logistic situation. There are many, many options. This is something for sure. And the picture is very detailed once we have started the conversation, because it also depends on the size of the products and many, many more points. But yes, with Cainiao, there are many options in this sense, but this we have to discuss in detail. Maybe as this would be misleading if I say some numbers here or give some details here, because this can be true for one and not true for the other.
Thank you. Mr. Tayfun Zaman asking, do we have access to the big data, and does TMALL Global Partners give big data analysis service to better understand the client's inclinations, the seasonality of demand, and product categorization for better use of TMALL Global?
Yeah, a very good question, because as I mentioned, with Alibaba, which is our marketing arm, of course, we do have a very sharp customer profile, and of course you need to be able to have access to it in terms of doing a proper marketing. Yes, absolutely. So all of the details relevant to your store, to customer potentials, are accessible, and this is something the TP, sorry to mention so often TP, but this is really a very important part. And especially when we talk about companies here used to do B2B business, the more it is important to have this kind of expert partner on the side, because these are also the ones who can help you to understand all this data, because getting the data is one, understanding the data is maybe more important. And this kind of companies help you also to understand the data and translate it in a modification of your strategy looking forward. This can also mean maybe we need to modify our products a little bit. Maybe we need to consider a little bit more the specialities of a customer in China. As mentioned, not changing your DNA, of course not, because this is the driving point why Chinese buying products from overseas. But to learn more about the demand of the Chinese customers, and also to consider more and more the living situations, their behaviors, and their changing behaviors. So this is nothing which is fixed. This is something which is in a steadily changing environment. So yes, data are absolutely available, but you need someone to understand this data.
Okay. Another question is, as in this equation, TMALL is the direct buyer. How do you assist strategizing, marketing, and how do you secure the effectiveness of the proposed marketing budget?
Well, so for everyone to understand it right, so we do have two options. One option is to open up a B2C store on TMALL Global. Second option is to work with us on TMALL Overseas Fulfillment. This is, I guess I understood it correctly, is what the question is referring to. So that we buy products from a brand and we sell it to customers in China. So ideally, we do have an API connection, because I can see this question here as well. API connection with the brand or supplier here, because it makes it by far easier. Let's imagine we do not have an API, so a connection between our system and the system of the partner. This would mean that we have to discuss concrete product quantities, and then our partner has to deliver these products to our warehouse, maybe in Frankfurt, before we are selling the products. So it means kind of consignment model. My recommendation would be to think about API integration, because then all the products stay in your infrastructure until we have sold the products, and then you need to make sure to bring it to our warehouse, and we immediately ship it to the buying customer in China.
Thank you. Another question. What about financial flow? If there will be no legal entity and products will be shipped to bonded warehouse in China, then how shall we declare the sales as export? It seems a kind of consignment model. When we receive the payment from TMALL, how can we officially declare it as sales?
So as we are the platform, I cannot give kind of text-related answers here. But what I can say in general, it's like, let's imagine you use a bonded warehouse, or you send from Turkey to the buying customer in China. Once the product has been received from the customer, you will get the money on your Alipay account. So Alipay account is required to have, because all of the transaction payments in our ecosystem on TMALL Global will be handled by Alipay. So the customer buying your products will pay with Alipay. And the money you get out of this selling products, you will get on your Alipay account. And then you can make the decision in which currency you want to have the money from the Alipay account to your home bank account. But all tax-related points, better not me to answer this, because I'm, so to speak, the platform.
Okay. Does TP provide fulfillment from their warehouse to the customers like Amazon does with FBA? I guess TMALL doesn't have a FBA-like offer, but they have a similar type of offer through TP partners, right? The question.
So TP, so maybe when you speak about fulfillment by Amazon, which is FBA, that means Amazon provides you the opportunity to store the items in the warehouse, as they declare the products as prime able products. So maybe something similar to this would be TMALL Overseas Fulfillment, because no, it is not, because fulfillment by Amazon means that you are selling the products on your own, only using logistics by Amazon. So yes, this would be still the store, so B2C business, but the TP who helps you to cover all of these logistic related topics. You only need to make sure, let's say you have discussed the operations plan, the forecast, you want to open up the store, you need to make sure to deliver your products from Turkey to the bonded warehouse in China. And from this point, the TP is making sure that when a customer is buying the product, that this will be handled properly from the bonded warehouse to the buying customer. So also this will be done by the TP. So, and many more things. And this is something, because it's not so easy to mention just a number, what does a TP costs? Because first I would say it's important to understand what capabilities do a TP have and where can a TP help you? Because understanding this makes the costs maybe completely irrelevant, because there's so much beyond.
Okay. And one of the questions, how can we reach TP partner pool? But they will help. They will provide us the list, right? In case they're getting in touch with you, you will provide the list of the TP partners based on their experience, I mean, their expertise on products. Yes. So okay, we also mentioned this. Is there any other questions?
Maybe one point on this question. So every brand outside and every participant here could access the pool of TPs on their own, but usually it is helpful to have our support on this. So we do have a so-called TP selection form. This is Excel-based form where you need to enter more information about your company, your size of the company, your products, and also what your requirements are for ATP. So let's say you are a company going often to Shanghai. So you could say, maybe it's good to have a TP in Shanghai because then I can combine my travel with meetings at TP. You can say, okay, I want a TP who is providing distribution model. I want to have a TP who is a very large company, and some say, oh no, I want a mid-size or a small company because maybe there's more customer service here. So there are many more credentials here, which helps the TP to understand your company, but also helps us to pre-filter the pool of TPs based on your criteria. So when we have done this pre-filtering, there's a result of matching TPs. To all of these TPs, we will present your company. And interested TPs who say, okay, this is a nice brand, this is good products, I'm really an expert in this, let's have an exchange. They will reach out to your company, and you will have this screening process where you also make a decision based on, can we understand each other? Do we communicate well with each other? Because this is also very important. And finally, you make a decision. And then you have a TP, and the TP help you on all of these relevant topics like the tax, logistics, content, maybe also to think beyond, not just to think about within Alibaba, to also think about some marketing options you maybe have outside of Alibaba, which are helpful for you. So also to think about not just online, to think about, when it's possible and right, to think about offline business. So to have really this full strategy for your brand, and this is something also a TP usually helps you.
Okay. Thank you. Maybe a couple of more questions, and then I will try to finish it, Andreas. I know it's a little bit longer than what we expected, but there is a huge demand. Is there any supplier penalty policy in TMALL? In case yes, what does this policy include?
Not sure if I get the question right.
Is there a supplier penalty policy?
So I can give you an answer. I'm not sure if I hit the point correctly. So as I mentioned, when you open up a TMALL Global store, a so-called deposit is required. So if there is some fraud, it could be, and your company is not in China, your company is outside of China, we need to have some possibilities to cover this damage. So this is damage for. But of course, we do have some rules which are important that the brands, before they're opening up a store, are aware of, and they consider this. But this is something, of course, beside of the URL to the fees, I of course share also this URL, so you also see what are the requirements for opening up a store in terms of what trademarks do we need, and so forth.
Okay. Another question. Could you please explain regarding API integration, if it is needed for supplier stock and order process?
So to make it clear, the question is related to TMALL overseas fulfillment, where we as Alibaba are the buyer from your company. So B2B, this is between your company and us, and we sell it to end customers to C, B2B2C. So API is not required, but it makes life by far easier, because it's also possible then we go in a wider range of collaboration quickly, because we would be already connected. And it's also a benefit for you, because as mentioned, the inventory stays in your logistic until we have the product be sold. And by being connected with your warehouse, with your data, we also know which quantity you have already or still. And sometimes it's more helpful at current stage, because the buyer are mostly at the moment focusing on existing demand. This does not mean we are not interested in other products, of course not, but we have to discuss if this product fits in the current situation. And also here, and we got this question earlier when it was my answer on specialty stores, so someone who is opening up an umbrella and some brands are jumping under this umbrella. One idea could also be that we have one, let me say, main distributor who is connecting many brands from your side, and this main distributor is connected with us. So this could also be an option, that we have a main distributor, and over this main distributor we get many more access to brands. For some brands, maybe it's too much integration process or whatever, it would be easier here. So there is also an option to discuss this in different ways.
Okay. Andreas, they're asking how they can reach you, your email. At the end of the presentation, there was your contact info, I think.
I make it very easy. I write it here right now.
Okay. Very good. Hopefully everybody will see your email. I already have your email, I think, but yeah, they might need as well. Another thing is, Mr. Yıldız asking, can we copy our listed items on AliExpress to TMALL Global? Is there any integration between AliExpress and TMALL Global?
No, because this is separate business units, so to speak. So products listed on Taobao, listed on AliExpress, Tmall are not connected in this sense. But if you go on Taobao and search for products, you get also search matches for TMALL Global. So quick example, let's search for a carpet. So you maybe will also see a TMALL Global store from a Turkish brand selling carpets in the matching list. And then customer can go on into the store and going from Taobao to TMALL Global in the specific store. But there's not a mirroring. Let's say you list your products on AliExpress and automatically this will be on TMALL Global. This is not the case because it's separate business units and it really requires to open up a store, our own store on TMALL Global.
Andreas, last question. Maybe you already answered some of them, but hello, Andreas. Thank you for the thorough presentation and explanations. What do you think A&P ratio to sales target should be on average to start in cross-border e-commerce via a TP? Can you also give us more detail regarding the finance and logistic flows, such as X company delivers and sells products to TP and TP sells to TMALL and ownership of the goods, such as consignment, etc.? Thanks in advance.
It's a quick question, but the answer is very long, I would say, because it really is relevant to many points. So to give you a quick answer here, so speaking about opening up a TMALL Global store, so B2C business requiring a TP. So all of the products are your products until the customer in China has bought the product. This is if the distributor, TP is not a distributor. If the TP would be a distributor, the TP would buy your products and afterwards sell it to customers in China. But this is a good example of question we would need to discuss in detail because there are more points related to this. And I want to make sure that this is not a misleading answer here, but this is a quick answer. What is the product belonging to at which stage? And this is for store and for TMALL Overseas Fulfillment, where we as Alibaba buy products. So it would be consignment model if you are not if you would not use an API connection, because you send your products to our warehouse and afterwards we sell the products. But for all the time being, it's still your product, but in our warehouse. Whereas if you have an API connection, it's in your infrastructure and we only will tell your system, hey, we need this product immediately to have in our warehouse after the customer in China has bought the product.
And is there any comments, questions? Otherwise, maybe we should finish the webinar.
I just sent the URL again here. It's merchant.tmall.hk, and participants of today's webinar who are interested to learn more about the opportunities can go there and enter some basic informations, and then we will get the inquiry. And this helps me and my team to respond to you immediately and go in individual discussion.
Okay. Thank you so much, Andreas. It was really detailed, very informative presentation. I am sure all exporters unions, associations, representatives benefited, and also the companies who follow this webinar benefited a lot. And I would ask our exporters unions representatives if they have, after Andreas, if they have 5 minutes with Hakan Bey. Actually, we have some things to discuss with you after Andreas leave. Andreas, thank you so much, and I know that we will keep in touch, and definitely we will be able to bring more Turkish brands to Chinese market.
Teşekkür ederim. So it was really a great honor for me to be able to participate today, and it was really overwhelming to see so many participants, which shows a high interest. And there will be more business coming, export business coming from Turkey to China. I'm very sure about it. And yeah, let's get in touch here, make a proper expectation management, and discuss about the opportunities in detail. Thank you very much. Please stay safe at all. And yeah.
Andreas, one more thing I forgot. I also invited your colleagues from Amsterdam and China for food and cosmetic to Turkey. This is a really nice opportunity to have B2B webinars. Webinar, online webinar. But after this coronavirus COVID things is a little bit slowed down, we will be very happy to invite you to Turkey for face-to-face meetings or presentations, maybe if you have time, or your colleagues, I don't know. We will be very happy to host you in our exporters unions in different cities, you know. We have exporters unions, so we will be very happy to have you in Turkey.
I'm very happy about it, and as mentioned, there is many more business to do here, and this also requires a face-to-face contact in many cases. It makes it easier, of course. So more than happy to come immediately to Turkey once we are able to. So we hope not so far away. At the moment, a little bit limited, so very happy to have this solution like a webinar here. But as soon as we are able to, more than happy to come to Turkey, because we need to do more in Turkey with you together to come to China.
Okay. Thank you so much, Andreas. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.